Hello my friends and welcome. This is the latest update on Ukraine. Let's go to the Bakhmut area. As we know, Wagner mostly withdrew their forces from the Bakhmut city, but still some of the soldiers of that private army left in the city. We don't have the change over here for the recent 24 hours or maybe even more, but we do have the change over here in the Bakhmut suburbs. Let's go for the timeline. It was yesterday and it is today. As you can see, Russian army withdrew from the position near to this forest, and now they are very close to the natural obstacle, some of the lakes and the small river. Again, Ukraine uses the limited forces in that region. Even though we were able to collect lots of the reinforcements, they are probably waiting for the order from our generals to start the massive counteroffensive, trying to encircle the Bakhmut city after Wagner forces finally would withdraw from it. The fight for Bakhmut was almost catastrophic for Wagner and also for the Russian army. They had lots of the losses. And now speaking about the hottest spots on the front lines, actually it's not in Ukraine. We need to zoom out and zoom into the Russian territory, to Shebekino town, which is the part of the Belgorod Oblast. As it was reported from the Russian side, this town is under the constant attacks by the long-range rocket artillery systems and the drones. Later in this video, I'm gonna show you the proof for that, the actual drone footages from that place. And yes, indeed, it's the hottest spot nowadays if we speak about the Russian-Ukrainian war. Russians were really surprised not just to watch this war live on TV, but this war came to their land. So who started this war really? Putin. And who voted for Putin? The Russian people. Ukraine now protects its own territory, and to make the nearby villages and towns safe, we need to move the Russian army further from the Ukrainian borders, because they constantly use their artillery systems and S-300s, and basically it's not the Ukrainian army that goes to the Russian territory, it's the Russian Freedom Legion, or how you call it. They got all of the weaponry in the local firearm shops. It's the normal thing for the Russian Federation. Plus, they might have captured lots of the armored vehicles since the last time, plus helicopters. Yes, we pay back with the same coin. Putin did this stuff with Ukraine in 2014, and now it's the turn for Ukraine to say like that. My friends, before we continue with the news, let me tell you about my long-term partner and also the sponsor of this video, the Atlas VPN. They have the awesome deal for my subscribers, followers and viewers, where you can get the Atlas VPN Premium for the record $1.70 per month. Plus, you'll have 6 months for free. It's the best deal for the AAA VPN services. I've tried many of the VPN services before. Finally, I stopped on the Atlas VPN, and I may say that the Atlas VPN is the best VPN out there. Atlas VPN is very fast. It guarantees you the best streaming connection, then you watch movies on Netflix. And also by changing your virtual location, you may get access to watch all of the movies, all of the series on Netflix platform. It helped me a lot. Atlas VPN helps me to access some of the websites that are blocked in my country. Patreon website is one of them. My friends, now please check out my personal link in the video description just below, where you may get the Atlas VPN Premium for just $170 per month, plus 6 months for free. It's the best deal for all of the VPN services out there. This deal is valid especially for my followers, and also it's the time limited, so please hurry up to join the club. This is the drone footage from Shebekino. You can see lots of the wildfires that were sparked because of the usage of artillery systems on that town, and unfortunately nature struggles as well because of this war. Also, Russians usually hide their vehicles in the forest, and we have to use their artillery systems against them. Russian freedom soldiers say that they've captured some of the land near to Shebekino. It's been not confirmed by the deep state map. We don't see the map update, as we saw around 2 weeks ago. Then Legion went into the Belgorod Oblast. But here the Russian legend says that Russia started to use artillery and aviation against them, so they may also cause these wildfires around. And they continue to publish more drone footages. They say that there's the road and it was the Russian column that was targeted by the rocket artillery systems from the Legion forces. So this operation from their side is more or less successful. However, they are unable to take the vast parts of the territory of the Russian Federation as they did the last time, but the devastation is more dramatic this time. The locals who used to live in Shebekino were evacuated to the other Russian regions, further away from the Ukrainian border. I think that Russians should do it to all of the towns or cities within the 50 kilometers range from the Ukrainian border. The Wall Street Journal publishes the interview with the President Zelensky, and for the first time Zelensky said that Ukraine is ready for the counteroffensive. Before he said that he gave the order and the date was already agreed with our general command, but now he says that Ukraine is ready. That's the main thing. However, Zelensky still says that we don't have enough weaponry to liberate all of our territories. And it is hard to predict how the counteroffensive will develop with this marginal amount of the weaponry, actually low amount but still possible to conduct this operation. President Zelensky confirms what I was telling to you before, that we need more Patriot systems to defend our ground troops in their attempt to liberate our lands. Because Russia has tremendous advancement in the air, and we need more Patriot systems for sure, because it's the only system that may shut down sophisticated Russian planes on the long range, and we need to do it on the long range because they may fire their air-to-ground missiles and target our Leopard tanks, Challengers and whatever. We have now 2 Patriots. It doesn't mean that we have 2 of the tracks. No, this system is very complicated, including many of the tracks, radars and command centers, as well as many launchers and missiles. So we have to put those close to the point of the future counteroffensive. I believe it will be on the south part. Also, President Zelensky said that he is quite concerned about the possible change of administration of the White House in the coming years. Because now we have awesome support from the United States of America. If we lose it, we probably gonna lose many more territories, but we will not lose the war. Because of the possible change in the policy of the United States, we need to act right now in 2023 and 2024. That's why it's also very important for Ukraine not to wait for a long time to start the counteroffensive. I just hope that we'll still have the support from the United States no matter what changes they have in their policy. So why do I think that the counteroffensive will happen on the south? Because Ukraine continue to destroy or demolish or to cut the Russian supply lines, for example over here near to Melitopol, and the Ukrainian army probably would go to Melitopol from the north part. As you can see, it's not the news any longer, it's the daily routine. Then we speak about the Russian supply lines that were totally demolished. And to do that, Ukraine uses the Storm Shadow cruise missiles that were given to us by the United Kingdom. Thank you for your awesome support. So they're based on the Sukhoi Su-24 tactical bomber. As you may see, it may carry 2 of the missiles. It's awesome. We have the photo from the border with Crimea. So those are the teeth of the dragon, they call it, the pyramids or the cones that Russia built near to the border of Crimea. But they wouldn't be able to stop the Ukrainian army because for their effectiveness, they have to have their own units, their artillery systems and anti-tank systems at the nearby vicinity. But I expect Russian army to run very fast from their positions. And in that case, heavy tanks may just put those pyramids away and let other vehicles to proceed. This is the place where those defense lines were spotted. Controversial information comes again from the Ukrainian president's office. This time some official from the president's office gave the interview to the Times, and he said that it's still not enough weaponry for Ukraine to start the counteroffensive. I wouldn't believe that because President Zelensky said himself that Ukraine is ready. Yes, preferably we would like to see more Patriot systems, but in general we have the enough weaponry to start the successful operation. I believe it will be successful. The British intelligence confirms that the Wagner group little by little leaves the Bakhmut city, and now the regular Russian army deployed their regiments or their divisions or whatever in the city to protect it. But the regular Russian army is way less effective compared to the Wagner forces. To ensure that they have some capable forces there, the Russian Army Command started to send the elite divisions 76 and 106 airborne forces. However, those divisions were formed from the newcomers because they had huge losses last year. So it's hard to say whether those are still elite, but indeed they are more capable compared to the standard Russian army soldiers. At least they have better equipment and better training. As for Prigozhin, his conflict with the Russian Defense Ministry continues in the new form. Because there is some fighting on the Russian territory, for example in Belgorod region, Prigozhin says that Wagner may deploy their forces in that area. He says that Russian Defense Ministry is not doing the right job and they will not ask the permission to deploy their forces. It is definitely a new step of escalation, so now there is the private army in Russia that decides where they will fight and with whom they will fight. The Russian government basically lost the monopoly on the violence. It is the straightforward road to the civil war between the Russian clans. They will fight between each other and it will be the collapse of Russia, and everything goes according to that scenario. As for the conflict between Prigozhin and Kadyrov, Kadyrov called Prigozhin personally, and Prigozhin says that they were able to handle this situation for now, but he also says that Wagner in any case ready for different scenarios, including the direct conflict between him and Ahmad battalion. He says that in that case there will be lots of the blood, but Wagner finally wins because they have more resources and more soldiers. Speaking about the Ahmad army, he has around 3 up to 4,000 soldiers. And they are poorly equipped compared to the Wagner army, that's why obviously Wagner will win. But the fact that they're speaking about it just amazes me. Again, it's one more step towards the civil war. Kadyrov understood it and decided to pull back a little. Finally, it was not his idea to speak harshly towards Prigozhin. He got the order from the Kremlin. Why am I sure about it? Because the Chechen leaders recorded their videos just after visiting the Russian Ministry of Defense. The Hungarian leader Orban visited Moldova recently and he went to meet the president of Moldova, Sandu. Maya Sandu, she is quite nice with her rhetoric towards Russia, and let's see what will happen. So she gave her hand to shake his hand, and Orban tries to kiss, but no, you have the bacteria in your mouth, the bacteria of the Russian dirty money and the Russian peace. It's very funny to watch. No, thank you, and just shake the hands and take some picture with you, fat guy. Again, my friends, I just love Hungarian people. I'm just not okay with the policy of their government, that's it, but I have no any complaints for Hungarians themselves. They're awesome. We have a new peaceful plan from Indonesia. What they say? Ceasefire. Not acceptable right away. Withdrawal of the troops by 15 kilometers from each side. Not acceptable. Deployment of the United Nations peacekeeper missions over there. Not acceptable. There is the group of countries like Indonesia, maybe China, Brazil, India. They don't really understand what is happening. They're far away, and for them this war is just a big distortion of the world economy. And they want to finish it as fast as possible. They don't care about the Ukraine's sovereign right over its territories. They don't also care about our people. Luckily, we have very powerful allies like United States of America, European Union, Japan, Australia, Canada, and many more friends which help our country a lot, especially with the military aids. So for Indonesia and Brazil, let them talk. They think it's their duty to put some sort of their stupid peaceful plans on the table. One of the Russian military bloggers today wrote that Ukraine started to use artillery on the south part. The tendency that we are being hit by the artillery, but we cannot respond because there are some circumstances that do not allow us to do so. Probably they're in lack of the ammunition. The counter-artillery action from our side is just absent. Probably now the Ukrainian army wants to see the weak spot in the front line to break through. That's why we start some fire to the Russian positions on that line. And if you ask me, then the Ukraine will start its offensive action somewhere on the south probably. I would say that based on the information which is coming to the social media, which is coming to me personally, I might say that Ukraine will start the counteroffensive very soon. I don't know the exact date, but believe me, my friends, it will be very soon. And now we are cutting the Russian supply lines. This is the Berdansk port, the very important facility, and Russia put the ammunition depot there, and it was totally demolished with the help of the probably Storm Shadow cruise missiles. And the funny or maybe even the scary story from the American Air Force. So there are some test flights ongoing with the military UAV aircraft that is equipped with the artificial intelligence. So at one of the test flights, the drone got the order from the operator to destroy the specific target. If the drone successfully destroys the target, the artificial intelligence gets some reward, like plus points or something. But finally, the operator cancelled his order. And artificial intelligence probably was angry about it because the reward points were lost. So what the drone decided to do, the artificial intelligence actually decided to do, is to attack the operator who gave the wrong order. Wrong according to the artificial intelligence opinion. No real weaponry was used during the test flight. However, drone went to attack the command center. After the flight, the artificial intelligence got the order that attacking its own operator is bad. So the next test flight was performed with the same scenario, and the command to cancel the attack on the target was sent from the operator, so drone didn't attack the operator in that case, but the drone went to attack the command tower center that sends the signal to the drone. So indeed, the artificial intelligence may play its own games, and the future actually scares me a little. You may find this story in many of the media resources, also in the social media with full explanation. Again, we have the air sirens right now in Ukraine. You can see many of the areas are now red. There is the air warning, and soon it will be here as well as usual, because Russia fired the cruise missiles from their strategic bombers just right now from the Caspian Sea, and for them it takes around 1 hour and 45 minutes to reach Ukraine. Sometimes 2 hours, depends on the wind. Almost every night and every day we have those attacks from the Russian Federation. They all started, I think, in April or even late March. Why Russia does it? Because they want Kiev to keep the air defense around the city and not send it to the south part to protect our ground troops in case of the full-scale counteroffensive operation from our side. Nevertheless, it will happen for sure. My friends, now please press the like to this video and don't forget to check my personal link in the video description just below, where you may find the Atlas VPN Premium with a huge discount valid especially for my followers. Atlas VPN is the best VPN service out there. My friends, I wish you all a peaceful sky wherever you are, and have a great time.